Hey everyone, it's Mari, and welcome to National Scrapbooking Day and this YouTube hop that Erica organized and put together. And a big thank you also to the sponsors who are listed at the end of this video. I'm going to be creating and working on a 12 by 12 layout today. I'm creating the background using some Heidi Swap Color Shine and this Serendipity stencil. So I've just sprayed some Heidi Shine on there in butter and pink. I'm just going to take the excess of that Heidi Shine off of there using just a little bit of paper towel and another piece of white cardstock, just so that I can use that on another layout so I don't waste it. So I've just adhered my background to a piece of Jen Hadfield striped paper. And now I'm going to just begin to work on the rest of the layout. So I took this 4x4 photograph and I matted it onto a piece of pink paper, and now I'm going on to a little bit of yellow. And these pattern papers are all from the Maggie Holmes Bloom collection, which is the majority of what I use for the entire layout. Actually, I use a few other things, but I'll talk about that as we go on here. So I really love the size of this photo, this 4x4 photo, and I'm just going to create some embellishments around the mat that I create for the photo. So I just use a couple of different pattern papers to continue creating this mat. I was going to use these little bits of the black and white polka dot there, but I end up changing the dimension of that paper and I use a little bit of a bigger piece than those two little pieces. I didn't really like how that looked. So I'm just going to take some more color shine. I'm going to add some splatters now. So in that yellow area, I will splatter with some pink. And in the bottom left-hand corner there, I'll just splatter with some yellow. And those are kind of areas where, or at least the bottom left-hand corner is an area where I'm going to do some embellishing and a cluster. So I'll just do some little splatters so that they'll show up around that cluster down there. So I'm just going to dab up a little bit of the excess and dry that up. And when I flip my layout over here, you'll be able to see that I gutted that ribbon stripe paper just because I love it. I actually have a few pieces of that in my stash because I really love it so much, and I just cut that center chunk out so that I can use it again later. Now these little pieces, again, like I said before, I don't end up using them. I just didn't like how it looked, and I decided that I wanted to create a larger mat around the back of this photograph. So I don't end up using these two little pieces that I'm showing you here. I'll just stick those off to the side here pretty quick. And I'm going to use a couple of other different pieces of pattern paper from the 6x6 pad from that Bloom collection. So I really like this blue paper, and it complements nicely with what the kids are wearing in the photograph. So I decided that I would go with that, and then you can see the larger piece of the black and white polka dot. I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue on here as well, and just because whenever there's a little bit of mixed media on your cardstock, it always kind of makes it a little bit tricky to make sure that things are stuck down well. So besides the tape runner, I'm just putting a little bit of liquid glue on there also. And now I'm just going to start to put my embellishments down. So I could have about 100 packs of these Maggie Holmes Bloom floral die cuts. I absolutely love them. And I'm going to be using a few of those and a few of the other little ephemera bits and pieces and die cuts from the ephemera pack from that collection. The photograph that I'm using here has yellow and yellow and pink tulips in the background. So in the foreground, that's my daughter and her boyfriend there. They were on a vacation out to British Columbia, and this was during the Tulip Festival there. So these colors are just beautiful for this collection, that's for sure. So they are wearing clothes that are just a little bit blue in bits and pieces and places. So I wanted to make sure that I brought the blue into the collection that I'm using here as well. So I actually ended up adding a couple of other little things at the end that I don't show on camera, but you can see it in the still shots to add a little bit of blue into the embellishment clusters. So I'm just going to I took that tag and cut it in half just because I wanted to make sure that I get the most out of my die cuts, right? So I'll be able to use that other half of that tag in another layout. And I just take a lot of the little pieces and I just bend the corners up a little bit and the edges up just to lift them up off the layout a little bit more to give the layout more dimension rather than just being super flat. And like I said before, I'm just using those die cuts from that Maggie Holmes Bloom collection. So I love that collection. It's gorgeous. Now this flare is from the Felicity Jane. I believe that was from the Tuesday kit, and another gorgeous kit and collection, that's for sure. I absolutely love that. And I'm just going to add here and there a few little bits and pieces of the You and Me black foam phrase thickers. And so both of the hearts that I have on the layout at this point are from that. And I've got a couple of other little bits from the Pink Fresh Studios Felicity collection, and that's where that little piece that says Spring is in the Air comes from, and another little die cut that says Awesome, and this one that I'm just putting down now that says Happy Spring. And so I end up putting some sequins down, and I end up actually putting down, I put some sewing on here. Instead of adding lines for my journaling on this layout, I actually end up sewing the lines down and then journaling over top. So you can see that down at the bottom. I've also added a stamp there from the Felicity Jane Chloe kit. And I'm going to add a little bit of washi tape here and there to the layout as well. That washi tape is from the Felicity Jane Tuesday kit, and it's just really, really fine and thin, and I love it. And I just wanted to bring a little more black into a couple of little spots on the layout as well. So this is almost done, and I really enjoyed being a part of this hop today. I hope that you get a chance to watch all of the other videos that are linked in the description below, and you can check out all of the other fun things that people are doing for National Scrapbooking Day. Thanks so much for stopping by and for joining me, and have an amazing National Scrapbooking Day weekend. Bye-bye.